everybody? Chris here again with CD2 Wrestling, and today we are going over our Smackdown Rundown, which is what I think I'm going to call the Smackdown Reviews, Smackdown Rundown. If you guys have any other suggestions, give it to me in the comments below so I can figure out if I want to change the name. But as of right now, this is what we're going to call it, Smackdown Rundown. So for the December 19th episode of Smackdown, we have our Clash of Champions Fallout, which starts off with General Manager Daniel Bryan coming down to the ring talking about the Royal Rumble women's match that was unveiled the night before on Monday Night Raw with Stephanie McMahon, and as well as setting up the main event into that's going to be a 6-man tag team match between Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens, and Jinder Mahal versus Randy Orton, Shinsuke Nakamura, and AJ Styles. As he finishes that, the Commissioner Shane McMahon comes down to talk about what happened on Sunday. And he talks about, Shane talks about kind of that his emotions got the best of him, and how, he would like to see what went through Daniel Bryan's mind, figuring out why he, did a fast count and did the stuff that he did. To that point to where Daniel Bryan says, I was looking out for what was best for SmackDown Live, including protecting yourself, because of Shane getting too distracted into thinking what was best for the brand, to where they brought up some old authority stuff, talking about what was best for business, and that if Shane McMahon didn't like what Daniel Bryan was doing, to fire him, which he said, I trust what you do, I trust your judgments, and yada yada yada, and to still, have what was best for SmackDown. I did forget to say, as Bryan's going through, he wanted to make sure that Shane stayed as Shane O'Mac and didn't become Mr. McMahon, to where you can tell Shane was visibly upset about that comment, and that's when he said, good luck running the show, and walked backstage, and we didn't see Shane for the rest of the night. Commercial break. After the commercial break, we have a non-title tag team match between the Usos versus Benjamin and Gable, which Benjamin and Gable win. It was a good match. It wasn't super boring, wasn't super long. It was a pretty good match overall. It was back and forth, and it kept the show kind of running smooth. I would feel like it wasn't too stop and go. After that next commercial break we have Charlotte comes out to talk about the first women's Royal Rumble match coming January, and how she thanked the fans and the crowd and the women's wrestlers before, to kind of allow it to come to that point that we are now, having the first Hell in a Cell, first Money in the Bank, and all that stuff. So it ended up being just her saying thank you to everybody. After that, in the same segment, Naomi came out, said, I'm gonna be the first SmackDown women, I can't talk today, first woman on the SmackDown roster to put herself in the Royal Rumble match. To where after they were talking, the Riot Squad came out, and they're like, oh, let's have a match. So they set up a tag team match with Charlotte Flair, Naomi, and the Riot Squad, which ended up being Ruby Wyatt and Sarah Logan, which, from what it seemed like, it pretty much was mostly the Riot Squad working Charlotte's, I believe it was her left knee, and then not a whole lot of offense from Charlotte, and then Naomi comes in with the win. It was pretty fast. It was a pretty fast match. Didn't really seem to go anywhere. So, before that next commercial break, we had a backstage segment with the New Day walking around in Christmas costumes and running into Aiden English and Rusev, as well as them being in costumes as well, Rusev and English, setting up, saying that they want a match with the New Day for tonight, which they said, okay, whatever, we'll do it, which will end up being later in the night. And like there was like a holiday tag team match. It wasn't specifically called that, but you know, they were dressed up like that, so it kind of turned into that. So after that segment, we ended up having Dolph Ziggler come out talking about how, you know, I did it, nobody believed me that I could do it, and nobody believed that I'm still relevant, blah, 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 blah. Talked to, you know, he had this nice video package set up for every time he won a title. You know, the first time he won the U.S. Championship, all the Intercontinental Championships, and the one time he won the World Heavyweight Championship, to where he pretty much was a heel the entire time, and just kind of saying, you know, what's next for me? You know, you guys don't deserve me, yada yada yada, and put the belt in the middle of the ring and walked backstage, essentially. I'm assuming, you know, I know there's been talks of Ziggler leaving WWE. It just kind of seems kind of silly that they were going to do this to be his exit, but you know, kind of, you know, as I've said many times before, we'll have to wait and see. But you know, I could, you know, maybe you know, I would, if he stays, it's going to definitely be a heel, you know, a heel thing, of course, the way he's been acting. So we'll just have to, you know, wait and see what happens. With that, Dan Bryan's in his office talking to somebody. Says, "Oh, that's interesting. We don't know if it's specifically referring to Ziggler or to something else." To where Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, try to give him a bottle of champagne. He's like, drink, blah, blah, blah. You know, he tells him not to be so cocky and arrogant. And, you know, or Daniel might fire him instead of Shane. So, that ends that segment with a commercial. Then after that, we have the, I'm calling it the Holiday Tag Team match with the New Day and Rusev and Aiden English, which I personally thought was really entertaining. You know, those guys have been able to entertain quite well. You know, you had shirts and pancakes flying all over the arena, and you had, you know, pancakes and whipped cream and cherry getting in people's faces, and it was just, you know, it was an entertaining match. You know, rather than not, it continues the story. It didn't really matter. It was entertaining for me. And that was that. After that, before I finished, so the costumes ended up being Rusev as Santa, Aiden English as a snowman, Big E as an elf, Kofi was a gingerbread man, and Xavier was a reindeer. It was, like I said, it was just entertaining. You know, it was just silly. You know, them having a good time. You could tell they were having good. Not specifically like breaking character, but it was good overall. I feel like. Which the you know, that was that, and that ended up being you know, it wasn't super long, it was super boring, and then we have our main event, which is the 6-man tag team match between the faces, which are Randy Orton, Shinsuke Nakamura, and the WWE champion AJ Styles, versus Jinder Mahal with the Singh brothers, of course, Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, which the faces win with Nakamura hitting his finisher on Sami Zayn, and you just had some good, you know, good tag team stuff with, you know, everybody kind of getting in and out of the ring, knocking each other with their finishers and all these signature moves, and something I think was overall good. It wasn't a bad match. It wasn't, you know, super ridiculous. You know, it just, you know, it was good. You know, it wasn't super outstanding, like, oh my gosh, but it was a good match. You know, I would hope it leads kind of somewhere a bit bigger main event picture than just like 2 or 3 guys. I mean, to see, you know, these, was it 7 guys? It was kind of nice. It'd be kind of nice to have a big main event picture for SmackDown. You know, because if you look at the 2 shows, they've been have been doing you know, small main event type stuff. So it'd be kind of nice to have a bigger picture. Overall, I thought it was a good show. Not a bad Fallout show. I think it was better almost, it was better than Raw. Besides the fact you had the Revival come back and Hideo Itami debut and the Royal Rumble women's match be unveiled. But besides that, it was kind of boring. But for SmackDown, it was good. You know, you didn't have any singles matches, which could go either way. You know, you didn't see Bobby Roode or you didn't see a whole lot of extra people like Bobby Roode or Baron Corbin or everything like that. It was pretty much it was entire tag team matches. And then obviously with the beginning of the show, we just saw a continued tension building moment with Shane McMahon and Daniel Bryan, which, you know, if it's going to explode, you know, it's kind of hard to tell if it's going to explode or not, or just kind of what we're expecting. So I'll have to wait and see. So that is my SmackDown rundown. If you guys enjoyed it, do me a favor and follow me on Twitter on @DZroth. If you guys are listening to the podcast, follow me on SoundCloud. If you guys are watching the video on YouTube, subscribe to my channel, turn notifications on, hit the like button, leave a comment below of what you liked about it, what you didn't like about it. If you'd like to see more or what other ideas you guys have for the shows, for this channel, I would do appreciate it. And on that note, I'll catch you guys next time. Alright, thanks.